What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. And today is the day. We've got boxes. We got lots of boxes. And all these boxes are going to be for the Jeep. So without too much talking, let's go ahead and get some of these boxes open and then show you what's inside. So there we go. 5 large boxes opened. And this is what was inside. So we got some new wheels for the Jeep. These are Falcon Wild PKT. Mainly because there wasn't a whole lot of options on what tires to get. You know, COVID and all that. There's, you know, you can get what you can get. So 315, 70, 17. It's on a 9-inch wide, I believe. Pro comp wheel. And overall size, these are going to be 35s as opposed to the 32s that are on here now. So just for a size comparison, let's go ahead and roll one in. So it's about 1 3/4 inches, 2 inches bigger all the way around. And I just did some measuring with the rack and everything. Jeep will not fit in the garage, so I'm gonna have to do this here in the driveway, I think. But there are more boxes inside, so let's go ahead and go open those boxes. Although actually I've already opened them and filmed it because it took these wheels so long to get here. But let's go ahead and cut to that footage. I'm shooting this clip out of order because parts that I have ordered for the Jeep, some of them have been here for a week and I have no other idea when others are going to be here, and I don't know when I'm going to use the clips and stuff like that. But I'm sick of looking at these boxes here sitting unopened on my dining room table. So we're going to go ahead and open them. And first box here, I ordered this out of where did I order this from? Okay, this is from 4-Wheel and Off-Road Parts is where I ordered this from. Because the thing I noticed about ordering some of these off-road parts is there's a bunch of different companies that have wildly different offerings as far as parts. So I do a lot of ordering of stuff from Extreme Terrain, but you know, when it came to this sort of thing, they didn't have it. So 4-Wheel Drive Parts had stuff that Extreme Terrain didn't. Extreme Terrain had stuff that 4-Wheel Drive Parts didn't, and so on and so forth. So it's really crazy shopping for 4-wheel drive parts. So the tape on the box kind of gives it away. What's in here is from Axia Alloys, and that's the best look at their logo. So we're gonna have to cut this box open and then I'll show you what's inside. So I managed to find the right spot to open the box from on the first try. So what these things are is these are brackets to mount stuff to my roll cage as soon as I figure out how to do that. But I went ahead and ordered 4 of them. Because I have stuff I've been dying to mount to my cage. Although at this point, I don't see how these exactly mount to the cage. All-purpose rubber adjustable mount. Okay. Yep, may have gotten burned here. I thought there was a way to mount these to the cage. I mean, they've got the, like the imprint. Where's the other half? It's frustrating when they sell parts like that. I mean, clearly you know what I'm trying to do with these things. Well, it came with the sticker. Sticker's nice. But yeah, that frustrates me because there should be, you know, another component to this to put to the other half of the cage. And these would have been perfect. Nice metal, you know, probably Well, it says alloys, but it seems pretty heavy, so it's probably just steel. But it's painted up real nice. Got the nice little rubber dealy bot for tying stuff down, but we'll have to figure out how those work in the future when we're throwing them on. So yeah, I'm gonna have to communicate with either Axial Alloys or with four-wheel drive parts and figure out what to do with these. So we'll just throw them back in the box for now and move on to this box that's from Extreme Terrain. So Extreme Terrain's box is obviously clearly marked Extreme Terrain, American Muscle. Apparently all three of these companies must sell parts through the same warehouses, but Extreme Terrain, AmericanTrucks.com, AmericanMuscle.com. And let's see what we got here. Everybody's using the same paper these days. Thankfully I brought my recycle bin inside. So that's the most important thing, so we'll set that aside. So what do we got? Got a lug nut kit in black, so we'll go ahead and open these up and show you what these are going to look like. So this is a box of lug nuts. It had this neat packaging in it, but obviously there was too much airspace in here, so a couple of them have fallen out. Hopefully there's a key in here. There's like a space for a key, but I don't see a key. So we're gonna have to dig deeper into this box and see if, well, just pull this something out. Yeah, so there's no lug nut key in here. And I suppose I don't necessarily need them. These look like a fairly standard lug nut. So maybe I just don't need one. So this is it's a little heavy. It's a spare tire relocation bracket. I mean, it moves it up and out a little bit. So staying with the theme of stuff for the new tires, we got the Super Chips Flash Cal for Jeep, which will be able to reprogram my speedometer for the new tires, as well as I should be able to program the TPMS sensors with this thing as well. So these Axial Alloy clamps that you just saw in the last video do in fact not come with the clamps for the cage, and it does say that on the listing at Four Wheel Drive Parts where I read this, but it was in such small print that I don't know how anybody was expected to notice, particularly when the picture on the website shows this piece with the other clamp piece. So I went to the Axial Alloys website, you know, of the actual Axial Alloys, and theirs is much more clear. So when you look at this on Axial Alloys website, although it does still have the picture with both pieces, it's actually really much more clear that you have to order the clamps separately. So what I thought was going to be a cheap little mount turned out to be basically a moderately priced mount, and I had to order the clamps separately. So they're in this box, and let me just get that open for you. So there we are. Here's the clamps, and they got another sticker with those, and these are the 1.5 inch, because these come in different sizes based on what kind of cage you're mounting it to, which is probably why they sell them separately. But obviously this bolt comes apart, slides through here, and then the whole deal will mount to the cage. So I'll show you what I'm going to mount with these after we get the wheels on. Alright, I hope that lawnmower is not too loud. But turns out these lug nuts that they sent me, that they suggested I buy with the wheels, so they knew what wheels I was buying. These lug nuts they sent me, you can see there is not a chance. So you can clearly see there's no way you're getting a socket on there. So I don't know what they were thinking sending me these, but so I went down to my local Discount Tire, and I'm putting their name in here because Discount Tire always comes in clutch for me. The last time I lost one of these lug nut keys, these special ones for fancy wheels, I went down to Discount Tire and I was hoping just to borrow one, but they were able to just sell me one. So I go down there again today, and sure enough, they've got lug nuts that'll work. At least, well, let's get one on here and make sure they work, but should work. Never steered me wrong before. So yeah, Discount Tire coming in clutch again. These will work just fine. I'll be able to tighten these down and we'll be able to keep moving on these wheels. So let's get back to work. Looks like I got enough quiet here that I can explain some things. Whenever you're doing something like this, you're going to a bigger wheel, there's a bunch of things you're going to have to think about. The first thing is that a bigger size wheel is going to change your speedometer reading. Also, you're going to need to, if you've got tire pressure monitor sensors, you're going to have to program those. So that's what I ended up getting that Super Chips programmer for, so that I can program the tire pressure sensors and program the speedometer for the extra 2 inches of tire that I've got here. Next thing you're gonna have to worry about is clearances and stuff like that. Thankfully, I'm pretty good here in front. Got all kinds of room in the back. Also your back spacing, you know, your distance from the control arms and all that sort of thing. I'm good there too. So if you're doing this on a Jeep, another thing you got to consider is that most of the gear ratios that these things came with are not going to be enough for turning a tire this big. So if you bought a Sport or a Sahara, even some of the Rubicons, your rear end your gear ratio may be as low as like I think 316 or something like that, a 318, I forget. And so to turn something this big, you're going to want to be on a minimum 410. And you know, I mean, a lot of people are lifting and doing big size tires on stock axles with bad ratios, and it works all right for them. But for best results, you're going to want to have the right gear ratio to turn these big ass wheels. And not only that, but if you're doing bigger wheels and even a lift, I'm not doing a lift, but if you're doing bigger wheels and a lift, you ought to be sure that your axles are up to the task. So most Jeep Wranglers don't have enough rear axle to be lifted at all. As a matter of fact, there's really only one model, at least in the JK version that they came out with, that you can do 35 stock without a lift. I mean, you can put 35s on without a lift on other ones, but there's only one specific model that has the rear end and the gear ratios you need That would be this one, Rubicon Recon. And I say that because not only does this have the 410 gears in it, and is the only automatic that you could, or the only model that you could get an automatic with 410 gears, it also has an entirely different set of axles than all the other Wranglers put together. So you take a look back here, this is what the axle on a Rubicon Recon looks like. So if you've already been underneath your Jeep and looked at your axles, or on the regular JK anyway, you're gonna find that they don't look nothing like that. They look totally different because it's an entirely different rear axle, and the front axle too, for that matter. So I'm gonna take you down to my neighbor's house and maybe peek under my neighbor's wife's Jeep, and I'll show you the difference real quick. So these are my neighbor's Jeeps. War Machine is the JL Unlimited, and his wife's Jeep is this 75th anniversary. So real quick, up under here, that is what her rear axle looks like. So like I said, it is totally different than the rear axle that is underneath mine. It's just something to keep in mind if you're gonna lift, you're gonna put big wheels on your Jeep, is can your axles actually handle what you're gonna do with it? Particularly if you're gonna go above a 35, which, I mean, I realize that those wheels are 34.5, but essentially in the business, they're just gonna call that a 35 all day long. So, but I know my axles are gonna be able to handle it, right? And I know I've got the right gear ratio, so I'll be fine. Got the back on the ground again. These tires probably need some air. It's bowing out pretty good there. But another thing about the Recons is that this side step that they put on the Recons is extra short so that you can fit a bigger tire in it. But they're still, you know, we're still gonna have to check and, you know, look for contact and clearances and stuff like that. I'm pretty confident that it'll go down the road with these tires on it. But the question is, once I start trying to off-road and flex the suspension, what I'm gonna have contacts with. I may have to remove front corner of the bumper here. I may have to replace the fender flares with some flat ones, but we'll get to that when the time comes. So I'm gonna take a break, get something to eat, and then we'll put the fronts on. So you see this clip here, and if you've ever done brake jobs, wheel jobs, or stuff like that, you've seen this clip. You've probably seen this clip, but the only thing this clip exists for is during the assembly process. So before they put the brake caliper on, they need something to keep this brake rotor in place while they do that. That's what this clip is for. Once the vehicle's assembled, you don't need these clips anymore. So we're gonna peel them off. So that bracket did exactly what it's supposed to do. It moved it away a little bit and up some. So now I have space the whole way around. The only thing I'm concerned with is now these bumpers no longer touch the wheel. And so I'm almost definitely gonna have some rattle from back here. So we're just gonna have to live with it like that for a little bit, decide how we like it, and then maybe we'll put the spare tire somewhere else or something. So that's it. The new wheels are on, both front and rear. Gone ahead and cut the wheel either way. contact issues. And here comes the edger again. So now we're going to dig into this Super Chips flash cowl. And as these things usually do, I want you to turn the engine to the run position, but not turn the starter on. So I've already done that. Go ahead and press OK. Now, after I got this, I took this upstairs, hooked it up to the computer, and of course it needed to do a software update. So I already ran that, and I figured out that this thing, you can upgrade it to any of the Super Chips, products. So you could turn this thing into a tuner, you could turn it into the lesser tuner or the more expensive tuner just by downloading software to it. So now I'm going to have to open the manual here and try and figure out what I'm supposed to do next. So that's the options menu. So we ended up going down here to vehicle settings, and there's our tire size at the very top. We select that, and it wants it in inches, I assume. So it thinks I've got a 31.25, and we've just gone up. I've used this tire calculator here to figure it out. But we've gone up to 34.4. And it looks like 35.5 is all it'll give me, or 34.25. So we're going to go with 35 or 34.5. because that is the closest to what we're doing. So it is going to go ahead and program that. That's the ding that lets us know we are programming. And these things always take forever. So now it wants to turn the ignition off. Off it is. Press OK when completed. And we're back at please wait. So you're not going to want to sit through all that, so we'll just pick this back up when we're ready to do something else. Okay, so at this point, I don't think this actually does scan TPMS sensors, but I think the vehicle will go ahead and update it as I drive. But we're going to take it for a drive and find out after we put some, or check the air pressure in these tires. So let's just do that and we'll get back to it. Something to remember, if you get lug nuts like these that require a special tool, is to leave the tool in the vehicle, so in case you ever need it. I kind of lucked out that there were 4 extra lug nuts in that box, so it left me 3 more to put the spare tire on, plus 1 extra. So just go ahead and drop that in the glove box and leave it in there for when we need it. So let's go take a ride. So I took the Jeep for a further trip down the road, and you know, out on the main roads and stuff like that, instead of just through the neighborhood. And the tire pressure monitoring sensors did start to read, and all tire pressures are good. The spare tire didn't rattle, like hardly at all, so I'm not worried about that now. But I did rub in one spot. I mean, there was a big hole in the road, but I did rub a little bit on the inside liner of the right rear. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. If I do have to ditch some flares, I'd rather ditch the rears than the fronts, because the fronts have, you know, the special lights in them. I'll explain that to you one of these days. So that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.